Hey guys, it's me, Waldo. Hopefully this is live. I'm trying it a different way today. Can you hear me good? Impossible? Beard Box Designs. Yeah, I got it right. See? Had to look at it a long time as saying it. Can you guys hear me all right? Is the levels good? Hear good. Thanks a lot, The Print House. How's it going, guys? Hey, Denise.
I was making so much money with DoorDash. I wanted to earn money in my free time, but I didn't want to.
You got my name right 2 days in a row now. Yeah. The 3 will be the trifecta, huh? Or a hat trick. You got my name right 2 days in a row. Actually, I did not have any donuts today. Okay, sorry. I've got the phone to double check all the comments, and the latency is horrible. So it's kind of bugging me. No, I didn't get donuts today. I sent Juan a photo, and Rye, I got 5 different fast food places. I went to Wendy's, Arby's, Dairy Queen, or not Dairy Queen, Rally's. I'm trying to think. Where else did I go? Sonic's. There you go. Had to get something from every place. So, hey JBM, how's it going? I caught your live today. I didn't get to watch it live, but I did see your live. So it was good seeing that also, JBM. Trying to prop this up so I can actually see things better, but that's not going to work, I guess. It's how much things I can knock and destroy. And you ate them all in a minute? No, I probably might have if they would have got it cooked in time. It took them about 20 minutes to get most of that stuff done. It seemed like every place I went, they were behind on something. So, no interruptions today on your live. There goes my phone thing. There we go. No interruptions live. Get a new camera. Here we go with the froze again. You know what's funny? When I do live on everyone else's, it's not freezing. When I do live for me, for some reason, it freezes. So I think it's in the operating system. So hopefully this will fix it. I'm not really sure yet. I'm hoping. But we will see. The downside is I can't really see what's going on anything. So I can only see the comments that pop up. So how's everyone doing tonight? I know earlier I had an order I ran for I was recording actually. I did a video, did about 100, 150 shirts. Still got another 200 to do tomorrow for the video. But they're just basic shirts. So, I mean, the video will be my normal video edit. I mean, there's nothing really special with it. It was just a one color front, one color back. The other one, it's one color front, one color back, but we're switching out colors throughout it. But it's something real quick, simple, good money, good turnover because it's black ink, so you don't even got to flash that stuff. Hey, Jesse Gibson, how's it going? Hey, Martin Jones. So did anyone do any cool projects this weekend yet, or? And then I also did go shopping. I guess that was fun. I had to get some groceries, and it was my great nephew's birthday, so I had to go get him a present and all that stuff. I have a few banners to make tonight and some printed stickers on my large format HP, my smaller printer, also LED signs on the laser. Well, that's pretty good. Hey, Denise, donuts? No. Yeah, I should have got my little nephew donuts for his birthday. He's 5. He'd have loved donuts. Hey, Louie, how's it going? Because I don't work. Because I didn't work 2 days in a row. Yeah, that's kind of like me. I mean, I got loads of stuff to get done, but I try to not work. I try to take it easy as much as I can, avoid all the extra work. But I'm running way, way, way behind on stuff. And then I've got some new things that I'm working on as far as supplementation stuff. So I just got to kind of crunch the time and get it knocked out if I want to push forward with it. Like I said, some of it's not really important. I don't know if I'm even going to use the stuff, but we will see. I mean, it's some limited stuff, but I think there's a market for it. No one else has it out right now. So do you have the artwork for a Diet Coke of a tumbler? That, Martin, ask Denise, Juan, Rye. Them are the people I know that have the artwork bundles. I want to say I do, but I don't know. And the computer I'm at right now, I don't have none of the files on it to even pull it up to check. My other computer, I do have the files on it, though, but I'm not near that computer. And I don't have a way to access. I mean, I've got it on like a cloud, but I don't know the drive that it's on to actually pull it up on this one. Juan, don't. I do have it. There's other files that are in there. Yeah, like Denise said, I'm pretty sure it's in there because I have pretty much all of them. And I wish I had the other computer. I was going to go on that computer tonight just because that one never crashes. But I didn't want to lug it around. And so I went with the tower instead of the laptop. But I'm pretty sure I do have that one. I just don't know what bundle it's in. Because, see, I've got other bundles, too, that I've got to upload also. I've got one that's, I think it's got 300 to 500 artwork pieces in it. And it's got a lot of good ones. I just never got around to uploading them. And I got to do them in little files because the one is, I think, 6 gigs or 8 gigs. So the problem is on the downloads, you've got to go to my file share thing. And a lot of computers, if I put it all in one file, won't download. It takes too long. Do you have a couple codes for bananas and pickles? I do not have the codes. Juan and Rye does. I don't know what their codes are. Their codes are 5% off, though, but it's not on case stuff. It's only on individual products. Just because we do a price break on the case stuff. So, yeah, you have a Diet Coke, but I don't know the file either because I made one on my older folder. Yeah, so there is a Diet Coke, Martin. If you shoot me an email, I can tell you what bundle it's in. I'll probably message you in the morning. I want that shirt. What size do you wear, Ryan? I'll send you one. This is one of my, where I'm from Michigan. It's Detroit and Japanese for my import car scene, even though Detroit's American made. And it's one of my clothing, D's there in the middle, Detroit Leisure Apparel. So it's not your old school Tiger D. There's a D, an L, and an A in there, all in one. So it'll kind of hidden subliminal, I guess you'd say. Diet Coke after 5 meals. No, the Diet Coke's not for me, Rye. The Diet Coke, someone wanted it on a tumbler. The drink sponsor tonight is Faygo Orange, representing Michigan again, guys. Hey, what's up, Rye? Rye, you want to rock Detroit awesomeness? Denise says. Yeah, this is one of my more popular shirts. We make it in all different colors. What I'll probably do, Rye, since I know you like red, I'll make you a blue one. No. I'll get you a red one out, Rye. Is it large? It's medium? Kids? It's medium, I think it is, that you wear. How well does Jet Pro stretch transfers last? Let me try to read that one again. Because I don't know what the Jet Pro ones are, so I couldn't tell you how long they last. The house print, wondering if Goon Life shirts he's gave away last night's coming from Goon Life for you. Need us to pay for shipping? I think Goon Life's covering all that. He's just going to send them to me because he's got a lot of other stuff he needs to send me. And so he's going to send it to me, and I'm just going to ship it out, I'm guessing, is what me and him talked about before. Goon Life, if you want to confirm that for me, give me a thumbs up. Yay, nay. But I believe that's what me and him talked about the other day. So that is what we're kind of going to shoot for. I'll probably talk to him tomorrow and see how's it going on loading everything up to get it out to me. So send you an email tomorrow. Yeah, Martin. Just because tonight, usually, as you know, my lives don't usually end within an hour. And by the time I get up to the other computer and try to look for things, I mean, you can send me it tonight, but I probably won't reply back till tomorrow just because it will be late. And I got to go through all the files and try to make sure where I've got it saved at to get you an honest answer. Martin Jones, large. Are you and your wife going to wear them together? she was, oh yeah, the house print. He was on here earlier, so I don't know where he went. She was talking about you, Rye, because she meant because how small you are. But I finally, where did he change? Okay, heck yeah, I'm from Detroit. Hey, you don't even have to be from Detroit to rep. It's just a cool shirt. Like any Asian trans-right or font is a cool thing. So I think it's a big style thing. That this design, I designed it 3 years ago, I think, and been using it, rocking it for, I don't know, 3 years plus now. And it's always been a good seller. We do, like I said, for up there, we do all the major teams colors, and then we do like colorways for other stuff just because it's universal print. But yeah, we'll let you fit up there, Rye. You can be a partial Detroiter, downriver native. We'll let you claim that. But I'm finally wearing a size medium today. Yeah, for that. I wear medium like a YouTube top or like a tube top. Yeah, medium won't even fit over my head. So I think it was kindergarten last time I wore a medium. So I'm like Chris Farley there, like fat man in a little coat. That thing just, mediums don't even come close to me. Yeah, 7th grade. Yeah, that was probably about like me. I mean, it was because I remember even I didn't need an extra large shirt, but ever since 10th grade, I believe it was, I wore an extra large. Just I liked it being more loose on me. And I've worn extra large up until I got bigger. Now I'm a little bit bigger now. These big guns here, I need a bigger shirt to fit over them. So, hey, Waldo and everyone, what's up? What I miss? Not much, Jimmy. One of them or Rye was making fun of my food intake earlier. And just so you know, Rye, there was a salad in that Wendy's bag. There was a Frosty in the console that you couldn't see, but there was a salad in that Wendy's bag. But that one wasn't for me. I don't know why people pay for salads. I mean, that's what you feed rabbits. Did anyone see the Floyd thing the other night? Floyd Mayweather and Jake Paul or whatever, that little thing where he stole his hat. The bad thing is, even though he's going to let him go a few rounds with them, Floyd will murder them guys in a ring. I mean, that food intakes for the last 3 days. That was just the order today that I got, but it was only one thing from each place. Like, there's only certain things at each place that you can get. So, yeah, like salads are horrible. And the bad thing was that salad was like $7. I could have bought a Baconator for that price. And that Baconator would have been way better. And it would have had bacon on it. So it's kind of hard to pass that up. Now, I got a question for everyone on here because Ryan Juan doesn't even know what this place is. Have you guys have a place called Rallies or Checkers? Because they're both the same. It's kind of like Carl's Jr. and Hardee's. They're both the same brand. But anyone else on here? Because I know the house print. I'm sure you do because you're Ohio area. Yeah, Denise, though. Yeah, I was going to say Rallies. Like, that was right there. They're everywhere up in Michigan. Rallies is in Southern California. And Rise in NorCal. So, $7. Yeah, I'll take a Baconator. Yeah, the Baconator is way better than the salad. I mean, I don't care if it's imported apples or whatever they were saying. That it's not $7 salad ain't worth it. I could have grown you 10 acres of lettuce for that and still had money left over. I mean, double drive-through, yeah. Beard boxes on. Yeah, they got the left and right-hand side. So if you've got a import car, I guess you could say, you could come through the other side, or your passenger. Or like me, I just had them throw the food in that way and just kept going. We have a Rallies in Virginia, JBM says. Yeah, Ryan Juan kind of hurt my feelings. They didn't know what it was, and I had to explain to them about the food. Yep, sorry, don't live in the middle of the United States. We don't get those kind of stuff. Or not that I know of. Hey, you can do a road trip, right? Just road trip to all the different food places. That's what I did today. And look how I turned out. I mean, I think it's a good idea to road trip. And you can get water at the places, so you can eat healthy. The other thing most people don't know is in instructions, the number one instructions that are first are the main ingredients, and then they go down to the very end. Just so everyone knows, the number one ingredients in pop is carbonated water. So this is like 90% water. So it's good for you. People don't know that, though. And then this one is for rye, because I know rye is a little drinky drink. Okay, on alcohol, let me find the proof here. Your proof goes up to 200 proof. And then you divide that by half by how much alcohol is in there. So this is, I think, 110. They painted over the thing, so. $70 proof. So that's only 35% alcohol. The rest is water. See? It's not as bad as people think. Thought you didn't drink carbonated drinks. I try not to. But like even like today when I went shopping, I went to get Snapple. They did not have any Snapple apple. And I did get some other stuff, but I left that in the other shop. So I didn't bring nothing home. The only thing I had sitting in the car, every time I go to Meijer's out of habit, I buy one, just a small. It reminds me of back home. Like I like the blueberry and all that stuff, but Meijer's down here don't have it. They only carry the orange, rock and rye, red, and then the cola. So what I have to do is I like the orange one. So just out of habit, every time I go to Meijer's, I get an orange pop just to remind me growing up of drinking Faygo, and like they're like Baskin Robbins of pop. They got like beyond 31. I think they're like 90 something flavors of Faygo. I did a road trip. I got Food Network to sponsor me. Hey, that works good, Rye. If you can do that, I'll definitely go along on that one. C Block, Detroit, Chicago Cousins and I. It's one says Chicago. Jimmy JBM, going to eat Jimmy. What the heck? You get the big bottle of unopened. Why did I get that? All right. Literally, when I won that airbrush contest for that hood, Danny and them also, when they airbrushed that, Vega sent me a hat, that Vega 23 hat that you've seen. But Danny also airbrushed this whole bottle of Ciroc, and he candied it the rest of the way up where it's only green at the bottom. He candied it the rest of the way, or, well, blended the color all the rest of the way up and put flake all in it on the outside just to do something different. So he sent that as another gift. So I literally spent, I think, $5 to enter in his airbrush thing. And I won a $30 bottle of Ciroc and the hood, and then the hat I've been waiting to get. So I guess it was a pretty good win. And it's unopened because they didn't drink it. He said it would be unopened. So the print house. I tried to stop buying pop for my kids, but I need carbonation. I'll admit it. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it's addictive, but I do get stuck. Like I said, it's like habit. I got to buy this stuff every time I'm in there. So I can either shop somewhere else, but they don't have all the deals and stuff I'm used to. Like they got Verner's, which is another Michigan pop. And when you're sick, anyone in Michigan knows you drink Verner's. So I always go there to get that, but it's a habit forming to just go there. That's a crime. Open it. Maybe I'll send that to you, Rye, with the shirt. So bad for us. No, Denise, my drink's on. I'm trying to stop. And I had some Krispy Kremes the other day. It was glorious. Yes. I went by today also. And here's the thing. I would have got a dozen, but the light wasn't on. The hot and ready sign wasn't glowing, so I wasn't rolling. I mean, if they would have turned that light on, I would have pulled in and got some. But to me, it's like a tradition. The lights has got to be on for me to go in and get them. New donut challenge. Chase your donuts with Ciroc. I guess that could be the challenge. Maybe I'll get more people to do that challenge, JBM. One day ends if you get the shot. Hot and ready sign means free, so it's right. No, well, to me, like the hot and ready signs, just that's whenever they're making them right then. And them are the ones like literally they melt in your mouth and you can literally one shot a donut. If you wait when they get longer, then the sugar glaze kind of hardens up a little bit and it makes them a little bit harder to eat in one shot. So So does anyone have any questions or? So you're going to do the Ciroc challenge, Rye, then? If I do that, the donut and Ciroc? Because I know that's not your style, that one, Rye, so. And honestly, all that food that I had earlier, I would have probably rather had a donut than I would have all that food. I didn't really care for it. Denise got the package. Too much. Gonna dress her up and take her out for a walk. Yeah, Denise is amazing, guys. The stuff she's able to do. I'm gonna probably badger how I say it. Is it crocheting? Is that how the word said? Or knitting? I know there's a difference. But yeah, she's amazing. The stuff she can make and does. She's very talented. C Block says for life if you take vaccination. Yeah, they're giving you as of right now you can get a donut a day from Krispy Kreme as long as you show them your vaccination card, which I do have. So I do both crocheting and knitting. Cool. So I did get it right. It turns into a stone. Yeah, like if them donuts, like that's one thing. Krispy Kreme's good, but it's got to be eaten like within a 4-hour window of picking them up because they get about as hard as my abs. So I mean, they get rock hard. So I mean, it's you got to eat them right then or they're no good. And that's the thing about the other place. They don't have the super soft donut you can slam real quick, but they just got a donut that's an all-day donut that you can eat for the rest of the day. Now, Ronnie, we brought up the donuts, I guess, just because everyone else did. The other thing to watch, guys, and I was talking to Juan about it, where Juan's in and out of the whole stocks and cryptocurrency. They say tonight when Elon Musk, because he'll be on Saturday Night Live, he's supposed to push Dogecoin. And they say Dogecoin will hit close to $1. Now, I don't believe that. I do have a lot of Dogecoin. I did buy some at 5 and 6 cents. I don't have as much as that guy on TV. Now his total's almost. Last night he was at right around $3 million. He invested $180,000 and took a loan out and bought it when it was less than 6 months ago. And as of today, he's got $3 million. So awesome investment. One of the investing people I follow, he was on there with him today. And the big thing is will he cash out? Because honestly, as investment wise, he would be better off to cash that out, leave that $100,000 in there, buy a house, whatever, and he would still have money because he could actually put that in a high yield account and live off that. $1.5 million in a high yield account per year is right around $30,000 to $40,000. So he could live off $30,000 to $40,000 a year just off the interest of that money. That's just, I'm not an investment consultant. Do not take my word, but I think that's what I would do. That's just me though, because like I've been in crypto. I've had Bitcoin back in 2010. And it's worth like keeping that stuff, but cash in hand's better than not having that in there. So I would definitely take that, and he could still be investing and still make the money back. I mean, he said he wants to wait till it hits 10 million. I don't see that getting up there this year either. So I wouldn't do that. That's just me though. Can I have a shirt and not get Asian hate crime? Crazy times. I'm up right now. Well, that's good, Ronnie. Yeah, C Block, it's gonna rock it up. I don't think it's gonna hit $1 tonight. It dropped down right now. It's 60 something cents. Last night it was up to 73 to 75 cents. I hope it rockets, but I don't think it will. Yes, you are. You're gonna invest in my shop. Hey, I said let's work something out, Rye. We don't got to do the donut shop. I said we could do something though if you wanted to do that. You know my number, Rye. So 867-5309. But if you are serious, Rye, hit me up. We'll try to do something. Ronnie, no cable. Gotta wait till tomorrow to watch Saturday Night Live. Yeah, I'll be on here, so I'm not gonna watch it. But here's the thing: if he doesn't message, like bring it up. Here's the thing: I don't know why people are going to buy just because he talks about it. But I'm fine if they do because I have a bunch of it. But I don't know why people do that just because what someone says. That's just me. I bought a bunch of Dogecoin as well just to get on the popular wagon. Yeah, I was on it before it was, I guess, cool. I got a lot of cryptocurrency besides that. I've got like Ethereum, Litecoin, Electronium. I've got stuff that like is junk now, some that are good, some that are really bad. 10-minute window, LLL, brick card. Yeah. But I just think other investments, I invest in a lot of things. I do Forex trading also, which Forex is kind of crazy. If it hits $1, I'm selling and getting ready for the stock to drop. Yeah, honestly, that's what I think, JBM. I do have a sell pending at $1. If it does hit that, I preset mine. And what I'll do, here's the thing. I believe in the coin. I would keep investing in it, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to be a smart investor. I'm going to cash out, and I'm going to wait and see how it does. If it hits $1, I'm going to wait and see how it does for the next week to 2 weeks, because the hype might ride out to the mid of next week, and then it might plummet back down again. And if it does, then I'll buy back in at the lower. And so I pocketed some money and came out ahead. If it doesn't and it continues to rise, I don't see it going above even $1.20 a share. So on that part, then I'm up. I got to pay a little bit more for the stock, but I'm really didn't have lost anything in my eyes, because that little bit of change difference isn't going to matter. So, and then my thing is the price where I've been able to acquire it at. My highest, I think I did buy some yesterday and all that, but before that, the highest I paid was 25 cents for it. So I'm in the green with it right now anyways. I've already doubled my money, quadrupled it in the other sense. But so I'm happy. And it's not like other things. Like I've got dividends and all that. I'm big at kind of diversifying my stocks. Like when I show them on here and on the thing, I've probably got 40 different stocks I invest in, a little of everything. My return rate per year right now, I'm still sitting at 48% as of yesterday. When I was showing Juan, I'm about 48% per the year. All time, I'm 50-something% on the other part. So not too bad. My goal, like I've said before, 20% increase per year amongst all your stocks. And if you put 5,000 in, and it's like 10 years, 10 or 15 years, something like that, you will be a millionaire if you follow that plan and you have that growth, because it'll just continue to roll over the interest rate and all that on it. So that is what I do. And I do have an account that handles my other stuff. My fund money, the one I show on here, what I call that, is just leftover money, but I still put a bunch into that. Check out Shabai. Let me write that down, and I will check it out after, because the downside, it's crazy. I don't have there's a pen. The downside, I don't have, I've got the phone here so I can read off the other things. So I'm not able to read all or go check anything out online right now until I hop off. The other thing I use too, though, I do use Webull also. Webull's got a lot more graphs and all that where you can check other things. So I do like that better. Robinhood's a way easier platform to trade on, especially if you're new. So I like that. The Webull, they're supposed to add cryptocurrency. They haven't as of yet, or at least I haven't looked for it on there. So I use them both, and I also big on using the link. So if anyone hasn't signed up and they would like to, they will give you a free stock. And there's a link down in the description below. One is for the coin and one is for the stock. So if you're other thing too, guys, if you are on Robinhood and you're not set up to do the coin trading, click that link and they'll give you a percentage of that also. Right. I wish I got into stocks. I just don't get it. The big thing is like on stocks is, to me, don't buy what you like. You just got to buy how the company is performing. Like, you might not like what one of the, let's say, representatives of the company does, or what they stand for instance. Like I'm not I don't really drink, but I own a lot of alcohol companies on there, especially during COVID. They went up. I'm not a person that's going to go hop on a cruise and go cruise. Nothing wrong with that. Cruises are okay. They're not my cup of tea. I'm not a cruising person. I'd rather go do something else, and instead of spending $2,000 to $3,000 sitting on a boat. I'm not Noah. I don't need to sit on it 30 days and 30 nights. But so to me, I still buy a lot of cruise companies. I've got SpaceX. I've got or not SpaceX. I've got Virgin Galactica. I'm not going to be ever going to go into space, but I buy the companies because they're performing well. I had Moderna before they even had the vaccination. I look at how they're performing, look at what they're releasing. I've got a good performing company. I've got Caesar, which is the casino company. They own a lot of other casino companies. That I bought at $2 and I think 38 cents a share. I've got, I don't know how many shares. My profit on that's over 2,000% return rate. I was showing Juan yesterday. That stock, like my portfolio on my Robinhood, is almost $2,000 in there, and I only had my initial cost for $2. My average cost is I think $2.28 per share on that. I just good investment, good timing. It shot up. So another thing too, like Freightliner companies, like where I do ship a lot of stuff, I will never ship Old Dominion. They're too expensive. Old Dominion, though, is for freight shipping companies, is one of the best investments. Their return, they're averaging over 10 to 15% a year plus. Good dividends and all that. So like, it's just because I'm not going to use them, and they're amazing shipped. Like the damage rate when they've got a percentage. I've been to their factory and they show us all that stuff because they've asked us to use them. They're just too overpriced for what we can ship something else for and have it insured. But the damage rate is extremely minimal compared to everyone else, and how they ship things is state of the art. Like, you can literally pull that tracking on your phone. You can see where the trucker's at. So if he stops for a Big Mac, you're going to see that. But the thing too, that company is like, it performs really well, super strong performer. So like, I buy that. I buy a lot of food companies. It's not because I eat food. Food in general always has decent, like Ford, for instance. Ford is only like $10 to $15 a share. They pay dividends though. The dividend pay is right around 10 cents a quarter. That doesn't seem like a lot, but you're getting 10 cents for doing nothing. So at $10, and that's 10 cents, you're getting an interest rate off that, and it's compound. It'll just keep coming and coming. You can put it towards whatever else. So yeah, I always do that stuff. Rye watching versus. Big Mac. Show me. I hate Big Macs. You know why? They got lettuce and then they got like a Thousand Island dressing. Who eats that? That's not good. Martin Jones says, not even close. You're more likely to catch sickness at a grocery store than at a cruise. Yeah, the cruises are a lot safer. I don't have nothing against cruising. I'd rather put my $3,000 somewhere else. I've had a lake house, been on the water a bunch. I don't have a need to go sit in the middle of the ocean. But there's nothing wrong with that. If you guys do use Carnival, I would greatly appreciate that. But yeah, JBM, thank you so much. Because they're horrible. Big Macs are bad. I don't know whoever. But yeah, like that's the thing though. Like you can, like I said, like I've got Walmart shares, I've got Tesla shares, like I've got Ferrari shares. It's just I buy things that I hope will perform good. If they don't, oh well. I've got some that like I was showing one the other day. I had one that literally plummeted. The problem is I haven't sold it yet. So until I sell it, I haven't taken a loss. And that one, like I had, I don't know, 10, 15 shares. I bought it like $100 and something a share, and it's down to like $40 right now. Now, if it gets back up, I'll probably unload it. Or if I see it pretty much tanking completely. But I'm someone that does long-term investing. Like I'm going to keep stuff for more than a month or two. Or what I'm going to do is literally like kind of like the Dogecoin right now. Once it hits that number, I'm going to sell it, keep my profit, reinvest into it, but I'm going to cash some of it out. And I'll be content with that. Because like the other thing too is I don't just buy, like the difference when you buy coins, and Juan was asking this yesterday, when you buy coins on Robinhood, you technically do not have your wallet or anything for them. You're just buying pretty much a market share of it. And so you can't go to like McDonald's and if they were taking Dogecoin and use it. Where if you go to Binance, all the other coin places, and buy the true coin, you could literally go pay cash with that coin. The downside, though, as you guys all know, to do that, most of them you don't buy direct. You got to buy Bitcoin, Ethereum, Electronium. You've got to buy one of the other major currencies and then flip it over. Well, there's transaction fees for all that stuff. So there is an advantage of doing the Robinhood. If you're not planning on literally taking your wallet to go buy something, you're doing it because you're just going to flip it and sell it, that's fine. Yeah, XPR. Yeah. Or XRP, sorry. And so if you're fine with that, use the Robinhood. If you want to have the thing like where you can save on your wallet and all that, get the digital wallet and save all your different currencies and coins, go ahead. I will say this. I think it was Binance. I'd have to pull it up. One of my online places that I do the stocks or the buying coins, they created a U.S. only line just because the requirements for the government now where it's all got to be checked. And long story short, I sold my other coins a while back in there, and I didn't really think nothing because it got into fractionals of it that were not payable at that time where you had to sell so much. Well, I opened it up last week, and there's a couple $100 in there just because the coins went up that much since I sold the last amount. That's the difference, too. When you sell on like Robinhood, you can wipe it all out and sell down to the last fraction because they only kind of monitor it that way. On the other ones, they've all got terms and limitations of how much you can sell or move, how much you can do. And like I said, you could go to like a place that would take them and you could cash them all out at once. But if you have some like of the off the wall coins that are not normally traded that people are familiar with, you can't really unload them that easy. You got to sell them on the markets. And like I said, some of them, what I would call like the penny stocks of coins, when they're that low, they're not big movers. So on them ones, you got to kind of decide what's better for you. And which way you want to do that. Like I said, I've got it both ways. It depends on, like I said, how much you're going to invest also. The other thing too, back in the last big boom for Bitcoin, when it was at $20,000 and crashed right during Christmas about 3 years ago, it's 24 hours for that transaction to even go or clear. So it takes a little time. So if you're trying to sell and flip them really quick, 24 hours, a market can literally drop that quick, as you've seen with GameStop. So the nice thing by doing something like Robinhood, by not having it that way, you can unload it a lot quicker, not have to worry. I'm going to need you to come over and hook up my exposure unit. Really, Ronnie, it's not that hard. I did a video. Check out my last video I did for BM Pam. I show everyone how to actually wire a timer up to one. And it's literally the simplest thing in the world. So simple, Rye could do it. No, but yeah, it's like I said, it's something just to check that video out, Ronnie, and let me know then. Because like I said, it's pretty easy. Is it all the stuff I have? It depends which light unit I used, but yeah, I mean, it will work with any of the light units, depending which unit. This one I wired up to actually plug in. So if you've got the plug-in lights, you can actually just plug it into this timer thing. I did it both ways, but it's not rocket science. Just don't do it when it's plugged in. But yeah, it's fairly simple. And straightforward. Like I said, it's not that hard. I explain also that even if you're not making the plug attachment on there, how to wire it up. You're going to do the same thing. You're just going to cut the lead, which I did cut the lead on one of the things that I used. But yeah, you're going to cut and throw it together. You'll get Rye. Yeah, Rye's a little ways away. I don't think he's allowed to leave the state of California. I think he's got to be in by street lights. So is anyone else? I know we went on a coin tantric or whatever thing tonight. Is there anything else anyone's working on, want to know about, or? I have one thing I'm going to have to work on is I've got all them RGB fans in this PC, and one of them has got a section on that fan that is actually messing up, and it's not synchronizing right, and it's kind of annoying. And I should have probably put it at over the top where the other one's at, where it wouldn't really even matter, but I didn't. And it's one of the main ones I look at, so I'm probably going to either just take it out or swap it. Because I was going to rotate some of the other stuff in it anyways, but I'm not really big on RGB, but I did get nice where it all synchronizes. Now I don't kind of mad because that one's off and it looks bad. What fans did you go with? I went with, they got a zebra head on them. I don't know the name. I got them off a Newegg. I bought the set. And then I went with the white housing on it and the white fan to go with the white case. And then it's the external RGB instead of on the internal. And that's where it's actually messing up. Like, yeah, earlier today it was fine. And even like right now it is cycling through, but it's that one section in that RGB and it just keeps occasionally messing up. And like I said, if I put it on the top where I've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I got 7 fans. I've got it in a circle. Actually, 7, 8, 9. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I got 9 fans on. It's a liquid cooler. I got the NZ XT with the screen on, the heat sink, and then the liquid cooler. So I got 2 fans on the liquid cooler. I got 2 on the other side of the liquid cooler that are RGB. And then I've got all the other ones running around. And then I've got, like I said, 2 above the power supply, pulling air down and away from the, or actually pulling air up and out, venting it through the other. And then I got actually 3 more fans, but them ones I didn't change. They're the ones that just came with it. They're on the Tai Chi board, the graphics card. So that one, it's the overclock card, and they got all them RGBs on there with the fans, but it stays cool. And then I don't even got it in like performance mode on the fan settings, and my temps and all that. Usually, like right now, CPU is 45. My GPU is 32, and that's Fahrenheit or Celsius, I mean. But yo, Waldo, do a video on how to properly sublimate a tumbler. There's a lot of videos out there by these rookies. Yeah, I definitely will, Goonlife. I do have one. I did it the other week, and it's actually the video I'm probably going to drop tomorrow. It's in my rotation on it. Because a lot tumblers aren't hard to do. The big thing is just using it right. I will say this, because I had a few people ask me questions through the emails this week and last week, just so everyone knows. And I'll make a video on this also, but like these are shrink wraps, as everyone knows. You can actually take a heat gun. Just don't wear them cookie mitts. I'll try not to. I think I actually did, and then I take them off midway through and use my hand, believe it or not. But the thing with shrink wraps, you can actually overheat these and actually have them pop the seams and melt with the heat gun, because heat guns can put out a lot of heat. The other thing, too, with shrink wraps, no matter what ones you go with, if you're going with the clear shrink wrap or you're going the other ones, what most people do not know is that plastic that it's made out of, no matter what, like, I don't care what anyone says, like, they can be like, hey, this company's shrink wraps won't melt. They're full of it. There is no plastic in that gambit right now that is created that will not melt when it hits a certain temp. Most of these temps that I've tested, and I've talked to literally all the Avery, the vinyl company, as everyone knows, Avery, I have contacted them. Avery makes all your shrink wrap, but this isn't a shrink wrap, but all your shrink wraps that go through tunnels, like your soaps and all that stuff, the milks that even have the shrink wrap, the full 3D shrink wraps, them are all done. That material is made by Avery for the majority of it. I have contacted Avery and talked to them about all the different shrink wraps, the different things. What it is the length and time that people are shrink wrapping these tumblers. They said, honestly, they're not really made to do that. You can get away with it, but once you hit that threshold of that temp, it is going to bubble. It can pop the seams. Now, you will have a different outcome of them. Like, some can be too hot. And like, here's the thing too, most people do not, my pen. But most people, one of the biggest things, do you have to look, people had them in the cart, they're back, or I got some in the box, Ronnie. I've only got, I think, 100 pack left. I've got loads that are supposed to come in. They're supposed to have been here this week. I think it's showing next week that they're going to come now. I'm out of tumblers, and I'm out of the wraps, I think. I mean, I do have wraps, but the website's not up to date. And I always make sure, like, for instance, I have a few extra for me. The same thing, like there is, I think, 3 or 4 tumblers. And then the tumblers over there, them are specialty tumblers. So they're not for sale, but they're mine that I use and test with. But yeah, I'm hoping this week at least wear some painter's gloves or something. Some boxing gloves, but not mittens. Yeah, the only thing I did use was it's a silicone glove, and I only wear it on one hand. I can't. For one, I'm too poor to have 2 gloves. I only got one. I wish I did have 2, but no, it's like what I found out too. My hands, like the cups are hot. Do not be careful with them. What I'll say was when you're messing with sublimation metals. But my thing is I can't get a comfortable feel with a mitt, a glove, or anything. So usually once I get them out for a few seconds, they cool off fairly quick. I like to just go at it that way. It's kind of me. Everyone's going to be different. Don't do what I do, though, on that, because you can get burnt pretty easy. Yo, what I miss? Not much, Mike. Out of sense. What kind of game? What kind's my gamer name? That's kind of my gamer name. Oh, I gotcha. That's what they all say. No glove, no love. Yeah, I mean, like I said, they're hot. Even like when Rye did the thing, like it's cumbersome when you have a glove on when you're supplementing to try to hold them and work with them. You definitely don't want to get burnt because 400 degrees is not fun, but it's one of them things. There's just no easy way around it. And like, for instance, like you can do the method. Juan does show the method on using the what I call dental floss and pulling it down and popping the seam. Works great. But I'm too lazy to line something up, and I don't have like a steel wire or anything to put in there. So what I have to do once I get them going, I use like the knife or the scissor and just pop it and keep peeling. But yeah, it's kind of, I do the same thing, keep one glove on and use my hand to remove the shrink wrap. Yeah, like JBM said, because that's the problem. It like if you have 2 gloves, that's like, it reminds me when I went to 6th grade camp, not band camp, but 6th grade camp. We had that little game, and you had to go in the middle and peel like all this aluminum foil off a Hershey bar, and then you could eat the Hershey, but you had to break the things off, and you had these massive mitts, so your hands couldn't work. You're like T-Rex in it. And that's the problem when I use the gloves or the mitt when I'm supplementing, is I cannot get a good feel of that. And then when you're trying to, let's say like this, if you're trying to peel something loose, you can't get to that edge with a mitt, and then especially trying to hold something else. So I'll use like the one here and then get it going. And then literally I'll just don't hold it. It's like a hot potato, keep it moving. But that's kind of what I do. And like JBM said, that's what he does. A lot of people do that. If you do, people, be safe. Because like heck, in the other video too, I think I got burnt once or twice. I'm not bad, so I'm not worried. But when new people do ask, I do tell them to use gloves, but don't do as I say, do whatever that saying is. Someone probably can post it down there for me. I can't think of it now. Shine Aqua Illusions. I want to take you to backstage behind the meat curtains. You know what I mean? Nova, I just cut it with a blade. but not cutting through the paper and then pops off. Yeah, that's the thing. The other thing what I found too is depending where I put the tape seam and then that elastic, or not elastic, but that seam that actually has the perforations down it. If you can line, because the thing is you do want that to be over that area, because if not, it's not going to seal good. But if you do position it right, then all you do is just pop it right off. And then if you only do like 3 pieces of tape, it's cut the tape and the paper falls right off. But the other thing, I don't even know where they're at. I'll have to look for them. This is crazy. I've got too much stuff sitting on this desk. But the other thing you can do too, I do have, and I will have them on the site whenever I get time to put them on. I have the silicone wraps that you can use also. I'm not a big fan of them though, personally. A lot of people like them. That's why I ordered them. They are not my go-to. The problem is on the seam, you don't get the best seal, but you can work it around to get it to work. Or like a perfect example where that would work perfect. If you guys watched JBM's live the other day, he supplemented a silver, the tumbler, the drinking tumblers. And he did one side of that. He did the soccer logo on the one side. The silicone wraps are perfect for that. Them things are like awesome because for one, you just put that on tape, silicone it, and you're good to go. Stuff like that, them silicone wraps you can't beat. Full wraps, you can get it to work, but it is a little work, and you might not like the outcome of it. So if you're doing full wraps, do not get mad. If you use a silicone one, it don't come out. I warned you. But I do have them. Like I said, the silicone wraps, they work great. Like I said, the perfect example, the one that JBM did the other day, where you're putting it on one side. Or like if you're doing coffee cups, you're not doing like the full wrap, because you can put the seam right here, or you can put on the wraps, you wrap right here. So as long as you're not doing a full wrap on cups, which very few people do, the silicone wraps work perfect for stuff like that. But like I said, it's just one of them things, depending on which method you're going with and which ones you're using. It's, like I said, hard to say which one to go with, I guess you'd say, because everyone's got their own thing. And like I said, people like them. That's why I bought them, because I had enough people ask for them. And it's something I have used them. They do work okay. And you can get the seam to work. I'm not 100% sold on it. So it's not one of the big things I'm going to push. We are going to have them. But it's just like the shrink wraps. The reason I brought that up is I had someone message me the other day, and they're like, hey, these shrink wraps are defective when I'm heating them. And literally that same batch, because all my stuff is batched when I get them in here, we check everything out, and we can get it to melt. But you have to heat it up pretty hot. And even like if you watch the coffee cup, like I heated to one and it did shrink and the seam started open. On this, I just did a tape method anyways. But the other thing too, you need to get it fairly shrunk. But like you can put it in there and let it, like when Rye did the video, good example, when you watch Rye's video, you hear that thing shrinking the rest of the way. The oven's going to shrink it even more. So as long as you got the seam worked out good and everything else, you don't have to worry about making sure it's like popping at the seam. Because when the video I'll drop, I'm going to hopefully edit it and have it up tomorrow. I think it's on my rotation list on the video, and I got to make sure that part's in there. So I'm going to go check it after this. But the seam, like literally where it's perforated, that seam opened up because it pulled that tight. And like if I would have stayed there with the heat, it would have popped the seam. But as tight as they are, it didn't pop when it's in the oven. It did bubble. But the thing when I use the oven temp, do what I say, not what I do. Thank you so much, Raquel. I knew I was one of them saying, but they do bubble. But I will say this. When you have a digital thermometer, like my digital thermometer, when it was bubbling, it crept over like 415, 420. The majority of that video, it was all at the 375 to under 4. you do have to, like I said, I'm running a digital one instead of an analog. And the reason I'm doing that, the digital, literally when I open the door, you can see the temperature drop and how quick it drops. And that little toaster oven, when I open it, it drops over 100 degrees, so when you got it preheated in there, it's not necessarily preheated anymore as much as people would like to believe. So it lets me dial it in a lot better on my temps and time. I had another lady, she's posted in the Facebook, and maybe she's on here. She was having issues with the color not being as vibrant. She said the first one worked fine, the other ones didn't. Some of that can be the temp and time. Always, like if I have a probe in there, you can always check because the dials on the outsides of these, like the Oysters and the Hampton Bays and all that stuff, they are not that accurate. And so you're going to get creep or you're not going to be up to them temps. And it can make or break these things. And even a minute too much, a minute too less can get it too. So like literally I live and die by that digital thermometer in there. And I just keep that dial. I keep watching it and making sure everything works fine. I just cut the blades. Are you bringing more designs to the website soon? I do hope to, Raquel. I've got a bunch. I've had designs on there for, I don't know. I've had them probably as long as I've had the website. Literally, I bought all the designs at the beginning, and the other ones, though, it's hard because some of them, for instance, one's the Duff beer from The Simpsons that everyone would know, the Duff beer can. That one, I've got one of the bundles where everything is not scaled exact. So what you have to do is use a template and then just scale it. And some of them might get skewed a little bit to make them fit. It's not bad, and they all look fine. Like I did a test on a lot of them. They look fine. The other ones that do come out perfect, the problem is the file size. I've got to consolidate them down and put them into separate folders and then link the folders on there so they can sell. Because what happens, it's like 8 to 10 gigs. And on the downloads, especially people that use Apple computers, they don't like them big downloads online. And so they don't work well. And so by having them into smaller files where you get access to that link, you can actually drop them little by little onto your PC. Because literally, even when Juan did it at his house, it was like 20 minutes to download all the files. So it takes a little time depending on how your upload and download speeds are on your server. So, and some internets are faster than others. If you're on dial-up, it's going to take you a month to get these things. So, I'm trying to consolidate it and find a way to make it work quicker. And then I could do smaller bundles, like the other bundles I've got, where I've got the 2 separate bundle packs. Which I might do that, but the problem is there's so many good ones, and I don't know where to split them up. And so, I thought of doing a mega pack and just literally charging double what the other packs are, and literally maybe putting even the other packs in it so people could buy it all. Or I don't know, I'm stuck debating how to isolate that. And it's one of the things that's, to me, I wouldn't say it's not important, but I've got the bicycle shorts that I've had forever that I just got to upload. I just got to do a video so I can link it to there. And I've done one video, but I'm not happy with it. So I want to redo another one. And once I do that, then I'll drop that stuff. But my big thing is just, I'm kind of picky what I put out. And I like to make sure it's all functioning and working right. That's why a lot of times too, Juan and Raya's bought the software or the programs, but normally too is I'll send them a thing and be like, hey, go there. If you don't mind, buy it, try it. Let me know how it works and download so I can see the issues of downloading the files, because I can do it on my end, but the problem is with me being an administrator, things work differently. And with me having the server here where the files are linked to, it's a whole nother ball game. So when it's done as an outside person doing it, then the files aren't going to drop as quick on theirs as it does mine, because mine, they're already here. So by doing it that way, it tends for me to get better results. But it's just setting it all up and then calling someone and being like, hey, I need your help to double check these. So that's kind of, yeah, I hit the wrong button. That's the problem with that. But I will try to get them up, Raquel. It's just, it's a time constraint thing. Like, for instance, the guys in the shop didn't get the other order done Friday. So, and I've got one video where I took some of them here anyways to do for the YouTube video, where I try to keep the screen printing ones the smaller jobs. I'll print them on the manual stuff to do. I got that, but then we're running behind. So when I finish these tomorrow, I'm going to have to go over to the other shop and run the other orders to get everything kind of running smooth and caught up. So my thing is just time constraint, trying to get everything working. Ronnie says Dogecoin is dropping like a rock. Yeah, I figured. What's it at, Ronnie, right now, if you don't mind? Because I can't pull nothing up. I use silicone wraps for coffee cups, although I've not been 100% successful with them. I'm about 8 out of 10. Yeah, see, Martin, that's my thing, is on the tumblers, it's about the same, because you're going to run into the same issue on the tumblers where, especially on the seam, to get a perfect seam wrap. And I'm not big on that. So I'm that, like I said, I will have them, people, like on the flat sided ones, it's not as bad. I'm not 100% sold. And then, like, even on the coffee cups, I show people, like I said, how to use these in the, what is that called? A toaster oven. But literally, like coffee cups, most of the time when I'm doing them, I use just a mug press that I have. And then you don't have to actually wrap them or anything. You just tape and run with it. But it's one of them things. If you're doing a bunch, it's worth doing them the other way. We don't never go through that much. Like, and we'll get an order for mugs and all that. Usually it's on like the one side thing, or one here or right here. Like, they've got to look. We're not doing full wrap coffee cups. And then even like the silicone wraps, they work good for them. The luck that I've had, like we're running a over 90% success rate with the wraps on the coffee cup. But it's like, the thing too is more time consuming to throw that on there than it is if I'm going to put them all in the oven, it's easier to shrink wrap them all. There's advantages to all the other methods than using some of the other, because the time to do the shrink or the silicone wraps, it's not hard, but it takes a few more extra minutes to prep things. The other thing too, though, is I've got, I don't know, a total of 4 or 5 coffee cup presses that I've had forever. And so a lot of times, especially if it's just the one-sided thing, literally I'm just going to throw them in the coffee cup presses and just keep cycling them through that way. And it's honestly quicker. But I don't do full wraps on the coffee cup press. It don't come out good. So if I'm only doing like the two sides or the front side, I'll use the coffee cup press. So it's at 66, 64. It's not great, but I can live with that. As long as it doesn't drop into 50 cents. If it does, I mean, I might buy more. But I don't think, honestly, I think a fair market value for that coin is south of 50 cents personally for right now. I think it climbed too quick. That's just me, but it's kind of like Tesla stock after they split and it did that big run up to 800 and everyone's like, oh, it's going to climb to 1,000 again. Sitting right around 600 something right now. And that's kind of where, and it's still overpriced stock for what it is, for what the market value is and all that. But it kind of isolated back down. And I think this coin's the same way. I think it's kind of high price for what it is. I think it's climbed too quick. I think it will fall. Hopefully I cash out before it does, but no. But I'm just, like I said, I'm kind of like the house print says, let me read a few. He's like, I'm in about 22. So yeah, like 22, yeah, you don't have to worry too much. That 50 cent peak. I mean, you could cash, you doubled your money. Be better if it's at $1 though. But like, that's like me. I mean, I'm going to let it ride, even if it drops down to 25 cents. I mean, I'll probably buy more then, but I'm not going to panic because it is a long-term thing. I'm not going to dump it just because it's going down. I'm going to let it sit for a little while. Like I said, my target is to sell it at $1, right around there. So If the show does wonders, like everyone said, which I don't know why Elon has such power. Like, hey, I'm talking about the coin right now. It's going the other way. So, but it's kind of, I'm fine with it either way. Like if it does good when he speaks, it doesn't. It's like GameStop. I knew that thing because we talked about it on the live that night or that week. I literally bought into that GameStop that day and then I dumped it out on that first big rise when it dropped, it rose, dropped, and it rose up again. The second rise rose higher than the first one, but the money that I cashed out on it was very lovely. So I wasn't greedy. I was content with that, and I was fine just to more or less walk away. It's kind of one of them things. Profit's better than losing money. So I'm one of the people. I'm not greedy. I'm not going to wait for the highest peak. I'm going to cash something out when it's on the way up. Like I said, this one, it could rise and it could go hit $1. And like I said, I'm going to probably sell some or sell most of it out then and then rebuy back in a week or two later. But I'm content with kind of cashing out and keeping some of the money aside and then seeing how it goes instead of waiting forever on it. Because see, the thing is you're still buying in. You can buy the shares. You're just now you've already locked in a set profit. Then where when you buy in at $1, now if it drops below $1, you're taking a loss. But if that dollar goes up to $2, you still made another profit. And then the only difference is you've locked in your profit margin on the other one by selling it, so that's money you can spend. It's yours freely now. Where the other way, you're not guaranteed anything until you hit that sell button. So Martin said I should get a mug press. Tumblers, I'm fine. It's just the coffee cups. I'm a little over them. That kills me. Yeah, like coffee cups. See, that's why I like the mug press better. I have done them in the oven, and there's nothing wrong with doing them in the oven. It's just it works fine. But the mug press, unless I'm doing a full wrap one, I go with the mug press just because it's simple, easy. You don't even got to shrink the thing. You just tape it, put it in there, and let it go. I've got one that sits. The major one I have sits it sideways. The other one has a flat base point. You slide it in, it clamps on the side. And they work great. Now, don't do like some people say where they say, do you throw them in water? Don't do that with tumblers either. You can throw the things in water. That water better be lukewarm, because if you throw ceramic in cold ice bucket water, you're going to shatter it. That's how you cut glass, is heating it and then it's called shocking the glass. That's how you bust glass. So the same thing with tumblers. Them are vacuum tumblers. That's a vacuum sealed vessel. Don't heat and throw them into cold water that quick. Can be dangerous. Shattering things like that. Like I said, it can be done, but like if you're gonna do really, really hot water, honestly, the easiest thing is pull them out and just let them cool for a few seconds if you're worried, and then peel it off. You're not gonna get a ghost image if you don't move the image. So that's another kind of tip that I'm always big on, is do it that way. Ronnie says, finger crossed. Any of us Weebles, you know how to set a stop loss on crypto? I didn't know Weeble took their other thing live on the crypto. On stop loss, so all I don't want to say, and it'd be wrong, and I don't have my phone open to exactly show you. But what it is you set your lower limit and then you set your max sale limit. And then the same thing when you're doing a loss. You set your floor where you're going to sell if it hits that low. But the thing on stuff like that, on coins, if that loss is below your margin of what you paid for it, sometimes you're better just to hold on to it, because if you sell it for loss, you're not getting that loss back. So if you lose, let's say, $1, well, it's only $1, but you lost $1. If you hold that coin, even though it's $1 less right now, a week from now or a month from now, it can go back up. So now you're not in the hole. So even though you're on the hole on the screen, you haven't lost anything till you cash your coins out. So I'm about 500 worth on it. I'm letting it roll as well. Yeah, that's the best thing to print house. That's like me. I mean, I always tell people don't put more than you feel comfortable losing into stocks or bonds or coins. But that's my thing. If I lost all my coins and all my money, it was money I didn't really care about anyways. Um, like the Robinhood one, it's 7 or 8,000 right now that I've got in there where it's made and all that. But if it went belly up today, that was extra money. That was fair free stocks. That was all these other things, and hopefully I would cash out before it went all the way down. But if it does go all the way down, I'm not gonna lose sleep over it. And then if I'm worried, I would sell it out. It's kind of like this. I was always taught this a long time ago. Don't loan money out to friends, and if you do, don't loan more out than what you feel comfortable with not getting back. And I do loan money out to friends, but like if I would like to get paid back, but if I don't, I'm not going to lose sleep over it because I don't loan more out than I'm uncomfortable with in case I lost that money. So it's the same as like if I went and gave the money to a charity, I'm not going to give more to where I feel uncomfortable with. It's just me, but that's how I function. That's how I do it. So like if someone's like, hey, I'm really hurting, I need money, I'll pay you back next week. I'm going to look and see how much I have, how much I feel comfortable with giving, knowing that I might not get it back out of that time. And like I said, that's how I determine my limit. Because like I said, something could come up, and I've had it happen. I've got thousands and thousands of dollars I've loaned out and I will never see back again. Some people died, some passed on, other things happened. And so I know going into what I loan, I'm not going to give more than I wouldn't feel comfortable losing. It's just how it goes. But like I said, everyone's different. I'm not a bank either, so I'm not going to go after you. I'll just take them out and do the next one while it cools. Yeah, that's the other option too, Mike, is a lot of people, they want to, like, even on if you're using one of the toaster ovens, a lot of people are really big at filling it really deep, and you can. And technically heating it up, you're heating up less area when you fill it with more volume. But your temps are going to change in there too. And then if you're using the circulating feature, if you got all of them turned certain ways, the air has got to push differently. So the temp on one to the other is going to be very, very, it's going to vary a lot. And you're going to see differences in it if you put thermocouples on them all. So the easiest thing too is just to do one at a time. And then, like I said, if you're using a mug press, literally, like honestly, a mug press works good because by the time you're wrapping one, like putting the logo on and setting the other one up, you pull the other one out, set it, put the other one in, and it's like a constant cycle. It will keep you busy. So I mean, you can just keep rotating, and you're not seeing downtime because you're taping, you're putting it up, putting it back in the box, and by the time the other one pops, you're ready to load the next one, and you take that out, peel it, put the logo on the other one, make sure it's lined up. It's a constant process as long as you got it timed and set up right. That's so, like Mike's saying, that's honestly the easier way is just run your pattern and get a nice smooth flow with it, and it kind of works good. That's like I've got another video that I will release after this one. I was going to release it first, but I'm going to release it after. It's about how to find customers. Let me read this next question. How long will it take for Waldo to get covered by all those boxes? Yeah, you're going to have to find Waldo after that. The next week, I'm going to be sitting there kind of like that photo you see online where it has that copperhead snake and you don't see it, and almost everyone step on it. Yeah, I know the viewers are going down, Ronnie. I'm only down to 9. And I don't know what the thumbs up looks like. So 1 second. I'm getting parched. But the other video what I explain to, and I'll explain it on here, and then you can watch the video after. What I do is explain to people how to market the tumblers as an easy object, and it will work with any object that you sell or supplement or print. And what it is find groups, find organizations that you are in, work with, or familiar with, and that could need a product, might need a product, or will need a product, and literally market to them and reach out to them. And like what I did, I'm a Freemason. So what I did is we have groups. And so what it was, I did a few for some lodge people. So I did our Freemason logo on them. And what it was, I showed people in the lodge order. Well, what happened? Someone's like, hey, put it on our online group. Well, I did. And as of right now, I think I'm up to 30 or 40 orders just within that small window. And literally the same thing goes to any market. So like if a good example, like JBM's son's in soccer, he did that tumbler. So now when he takes it there, he shows them like, hey, look what I kind of show the people. Look what I got. The other thing too, a lot of the organizations, depending on how the leagues are structured, my godchildren, they play traveling base or softball. They've got a web page, they got a group page, and they've got like their support page. Literally is like the parents will put like the window stickers on there and put the kid's name. There's people in there doing everything, and people just is like, hey, I make this, and they'll post that on there. And the thing is parents love having items with their kid's name on it, love to see the photos. Kids love having products with their stuff on it. So it's one of them things that by doing it that way, it's not necessarily win-win, but you can get a market of people that you wouldn't have reached before. And like I said, and you're not really going out of your way. Like I said, the Masonic one, I was making it, them tumblers I was making for a friend anyways. One of my other friends, the Bowling Green, where I'm in that Jeep club, literally we did an off-road scene and put some Jeeps going through there. I posted on our group. Our group has got over 10,000 subscribers on there. So what happened, everyone's seen them things, and people are like, hey, I want one. Hey, I want one. And it's literally people see it. You shoot them the price. Now, on that stuff, we have meetups, so you can bring it to the meetup. You can charge people shipping. There's a lot of different ways to get the products to these people. The tumblers, for instance, the ones I did on the Facebook page, literally I did them tumblers, and they're going all over U.S. I had people in Nigeria, and not trying to send me a bank account thing, but I had people in Germany, all these places abroad that wanted them. Now, the downside, I didn't sell them over there because to ship them over there, it's a headache and a half to pay for the shipping and get it all figured out. But it is possible. And like I said, it's something that can be done. It's just up to you, depending on what you want to do, how far you want to go, and how much work you want to put into doing it. But the other thing too is like a lot of people got Instagram pages. Post your work on Instagram. Always update that stuff. I don't do that a lot, but our shop, though, we do have a shop site thing, and that's done on there. The big thing is if you keep people intrigued by doing things over and over and catching their attention, eventually someone's going to be like, hey, I need that, or I knew where to get that from, and they'll come back and use you. And like I said, it goes the same thing with all these products. Like I said, mask. I mean, literally, we started out doing masks because there was a need and a want for masks. And literally all these factories, when softball and all that slowed down, school shut down, all these other businesses needed masks. So literally it picked up and it filled that void. And then a lot of them too, we printed their shirts anyway. So when we were printing their shirts, we'd go and drop the shirts off, and they're like, hey, where can we get some masks? Do you know anyone that can get masks? Can you do masks? You show them that, and you're picking up extra income, extra people by showing cross-marketing on items. Like say, hey, we can do like a good example. Let me read Mike's thing. Yeah, doing a dance floor next month for someone wedding that found one of my YouTube videos. See, Mike, you owe me on that. I want a commission because remember I told you to do that video. But it's like Mike said right there. The other thing that Mike did also too, and I'm sure he'll be fine with me saying this, is he doesn't pay his taxes. No. What Mike does too is like he eats at a lot of restaurants where he's from in Texas. So he's took mask and made it for them when he went there to eat, and literally showed it to the people. And a lot of times people will buy that. So like when you go out to eat, especially when the COVID really hit and the masks were required, if you go to a restaurant that you frequent a lot and you're like, hey, look what I did. I made you guys this, and give it to the owner if you know them, the people in charge. A lot of them people eat that stuff up because they're like, hey, we can get our stuff branded. And so they're not all their employees aren't walking around with like Mickey Mouse ones or random ones. They can all have a matching thing. The same thing, like Juan does that with cups and tumblers. He laser etches some, he sublimates some for the other restaurants because restaurants sell merchandise, a lot of them. A good example, still here. Wow, yeah. I don't know where all the people went. I don't know. We were up 20-something earlier. Now they're all in half. I don't know if the stock got them. The coin stuff. Seemed like everyone just vanished. But to all the other ones here, I'll still keep speaking, though. But, yeah, the big thing, like I said, with the other products is like a good example. I'm sure everyone has ate at Hooters. And usually the biggest thing to buy there is a Hooters shirt. Everyone remembers them, every location they go, or the Hard Rock Cafe. Or the other one that's no longer around is Planet Hollywood. People would go to eat all the different ones and buy the shirts. People, when you eat at restaurants, if they have merchandise, a lot of people, especially if it's cool, or if the store is, they remember it, or if they got some cool stuff, people do that. And the number one thing, guys, and this pen does not have that, one of the best marketing pens we ever did is when I was in paintball, we had a league, and it said this pen was stolen from, and it had our league on it. So it's like this pen was stolen from PRA, this pen was stolen from MPL. This, like, it would have, like, so you could do it like this pen was stolen from McDonald's. And what it is it was just a promotion pen that we had there anyways, and like you put pens on the table and people write with it. And as you know, people out of habit don't pay attention and have a pen and they'll walk off with it. When it says that, more people were taking the pens just to have it because it said stolen. Is Planet Hollywood gone? I don't know, Mike. I thought they did go bankrupt. I could be wrong, but don't quote me on it. But I thought it went under after Arnold and all them didn't. And Sylvester Stallone, I was just calling him Sylvester Tweety. But let me check that. Did Planet Hollywood go bankrupt?
Planet Hollywood exited Chapter 11 bankruptcy on May 9th, 2000, with the approval of its reorganization plan.
Stallone, I was just calling Sylvester Tweety. Yeah, Mike, so they're under restructuring, but they did go bankrupt, so. But that was one of the things too, though, Mike. Like I remember going a few places, and literally that was the big thing for me was to like Planet Hollywood, Hard Rock Cafe, Hooters, and all that. Like every time you'd stop in to eat, is to get one of the shirts from them, the city or location you were at, just because they all said that. And little things too is like all these restaurants. If you pitch that to them, a lot of them they don't know where to go get all the smaller merchandising stuff. And it's simple free money. I mean, once you get that connection made, because you get your foot in the door, and then the other thing too, you also get good food. So, or Enz was saying it's still here. Oh yeah, Enz was saying, sorry, Enz, my bad. I ate at one in 2020. It was awesome. Mike says, got to run night, y'all. Later, Mike. Yeah, Enz. Sorry, Enz. Totally. I'm just looking at the wrong thing. But, yeah, I mean, the food wasn't bad. It was good food. It was interesting, all the photos and all that. And it's one of the things, though, people do remember them places. And like I said, it's in any of the things you print and do, it's a simple way of, like a good example. And, like, this isn't my brand, that if you buy them transfers from whatever – so, sorry, Jens. If you buy the transfers from One Transfers, the full color transfers, because how cheap they are. Like you can get a sheet of full color for little to nothing, a little 8x10 if you wanted. So if you did a left chest of all your local businesses in the area, so that you could fit like 10 to 15 on a sheet, so it's like maybe $2 a sheet, and then literally just press that and take it into them with the full color image. That, like I said, because some of these companies, they've got awesome stuff, but they only got like one color print on their work stuff because the cost. So if you take it in and you take them like a full color print and be like, hey, I can do this for this much. The white would cost this much, or the black ink would cost this much. Your full color I can do for this much. And you can do a sample. You can make some money off these places and people. Just because a lot of people do like to see their full color image. They just don't like the price that comes with it. Are the wand transfers any good? Just direct to film? Yeah, and so far, all the testing I have done with them. What does this say? Joe Exotic, the inner caps of my minds are the. But so far, and every test that I have done, these things rock. Like this is a shirt, and that like that has it. And I mean, no one ever stretches. Like people do the stretch test this much, where you're like putting your hands through these things, and yeah, they hold up. You don't feel it on the back, like people say. They do have, when you go solid prints like this, it has a. It's weird. It's hard to explain. It reminds me of like a silicone print, like if you screen print in silicone, where they've got that a slight more grip feel. It's super thin. Now, when you go over open areas like this, where there's gaps, it feels like a pressed screen printed shirt. You're not going to get the screen print texture as much. But it's like in the washability, these things hold up amazing. The detail, you get amazing prints. That what is that one? The Freddy Krueger one and all that I did came out fine. A good example, ends Eric on here. Eric has bought quite a few. And Eric says, Wands transfer are really nice. I haven't used Super Color since. Waldo gave the info on them. Yeah, and like I said, Eric has used Super Color, and now all he does is use the other ones. Shipping is kind of long, but well worth the wait. Yeah, and that's the only downside is like they're about, like, because I ordered some more the other day, and he's about 15-day out. But they're coming from overseas, and it's like usually it's only like $15 shipping, which I mean 15's a lot, but it's not in the big scheme of things. And if you look at coming across the water, but that's the only negative that I can really find with them is the shipping. So normally what I always tell people to do is buy like make it worth your while on the order. So don't just order one sheet, buy more sheets, but like they hold up great. I mean, I've been washing this stuff, that other shirt that I print all the transfers on. I do have my own machine. If you look over there on that one shelf right there, that right there on that shelf on them bottles, on where the hood's at over there, right there. Sorry, right there. Them bottles are, which there's more than what you see. There's about 15 bottles of white ink. I do have my own direct-to-film machine, a large format one. It's not the ones that people are using online here on the videos. It's quite expensive, multiple heads. But I still buy wand transfers. Like the giveaways I did the other day was given away with them, just because I've used them and I haven't had any issues with them yet. The price is great. The only downside is the shipping time. So I always plan ahead for the shipping. But my quality is fine. I like my quality. I'm not going to sell mine until I feel super comfortable, though. Do a lot more testing on mine. And right now it's just a hard thing to get a lot more testing done. And I'm working on some other print styles with it that isn't your normal style. Gina says Supercolor put out that they get up to 70 washes before it starts cracking. Eric says 32 by 22 gang sheet is really nice. Yeah, and that's the thing is like you can gang anything up. Even their 8.5 by 11 paper, they'll let you gang these things. They don't care. And Supercolor, you can't gang sheets, and they definitely don't have a 32 by 22. Like the 32 by 22 is massive. I mean, so you can do some. Literally, you can get 2 full-size all-over prints if you really wanted with that. It's pretty intense. That video, Gina, it's true, but the thing is like, which on his previous video is he was like, yeah, even screen printing ink fades during that wash test. And the thing is, when it hit the 70, it's still failing. Now, Gina, if you remember, I was telling you about the white ink cracking over time on any print. This shirt's like over 3 years old. It was white print, and it's hard to see on this camera. There's cracking, but it's not flaking off. So that's the major difference. But any ink that long you're going to run into issues. But like I said, the process, like the glues and all that they're using is the same glues that you are using for direct to film. They're all are made the same way. Now you have different blockers and things. So depending on what powder they're using compared to the direct to film, and theirs is printed directly to the film. What they're doing though, the only difference in their process, and I know this for a fact, is what they're doing. It is running through an auto machine after, and they've got 3 screens, but you can do it with one. Is they're screen printing the white ink on the back of theirs. And so they're not using CMYK in white. They're just using, like the one video that I showed using a laser toner and printing onto the transfer film and screen printing the back. That is similar to what they're doing, more or less. And so theirs is direct to a film. They're just doing a lot of times they'll call it a hybrid. And what they're doing on that is they're taking that and actually screen printing the white ink on the back of that. And then you can, like, the advantage of that to a point, you can use dye migration ink on that. You can use water basing. You can use plastisol ink. You can kind of adjust what ink the ink is going to work best for the garment. So just like screen printing, if you're printing on silicone, or not silicone, but if you're printing on like polyester, you're going to use something different. Like with a little dye migration. If you're using cotton, you can use just a normal white. And that's the advantage of printing the way they do. That's why they've got all the different ones, is because you can select that ink for that. Now, the other thing too, though, is you can take one of these prints, a direct to film, and you can't do that with theirs. I haven't seen it done, but I've done this with mine. For one, I've took these prints and put them in a heat press with no silicone or no cover sheet, pressed right to these things, and it will not stick to the thing. I've took irons and pressed on it, will not. These have got, the ink is a little bit more durable as far as what it can handle up to. And like I said, the stretch test where everyone does the stupid stretch test, like I said, I mean, that is 6 inches of stretch, and there ain't nothing wrong with that. Like I said, this is a polyester material, so you're going to be able to stretch it a lot. And like I said, there's no marks, stretching, warping, or damage. Image quality is perfect. Like I said, and there's ways too, like I said, and they did it down here. You can get a better, softer feel when you half-tone things and just have the small dots here. But it takes some work. It's all in prep of the artwork to get it to be like that. But it can be done, and you can get even softer feels by doing that. And like I said, to me, it's a more viable option than the ones that are out there. Like I said, I'm not getting paid from these. So, like I said, the ones that they're in the giveaway, I paid out of my own pocket. I can show you guys the receipts. And even the ones that like the giveaway the other day, like the one that you won, Gina, that's all coming out of my own pocket. That's why I'm waiting to have it all shipped at once so that I don't get nailed to 3 different shippings. And the other thing, Gina, I did get the one files. I've got all of them there. Let's find the ones that I've got. So you're all good, Gina. We're going to run with them. But it's one of them things, like I said, you can, and I haven't seen Eric's prints, what he's printing. But I know because he's commented he's ordering before. And then whenever I order, I always ask the people who's all ordered. And most of the time he's like, hey, we've got some repeat customers. A lot of people, it's been going really good. And I'll get emails from people too if they do have any issues, and I'll try to contact them to see. But for the most part, everyone that's had them and got them, they love them. And the major thing is the price. The price and quality, it's hard to beat that. So, I mean, like I said, you can make a good thing out of that. And like I said, so the people that are doing, let's say, only heat pressing stuff, this is another viable option that's cheaper than the super color method. That results are there. So, I mean, and then like the other thing too, even on where you brought up that 70 shirt wash, Gina, a life of a shirt is normally only 50 or less. So keep that in mind. Eric says, I do print for music artist and my other screen, and they don't want them to show before they start marketing. Yeah, that's cool, Eric. I definitely understand, because that's one of the things too, Eric, that a lot of my videos where I print a lot of stuff and I only bring the stuff home to print on the small press out there that I can actually air and show. Because what happens, like we used to, and we still do this stuff for them, but we print for RC Components and a lot of other big commercial companies. And what it is like before they go to Sturgis and all that stuff, which is a big bike show, we print all their new merchandise. We can't release the photos or anything till set dates even after. Some of the stuff, they don't even want it to be released. So it's kind of like, I definitely understand how that goes, Eric. So it's all good. But like, that's what a lot of people don't always understand. Sometimes it's like I print stuff and I'm like, I'd like to show it, but I can't because who they're for and when they're marketing it and all that stuff. A lot of the stuff would be, even if I push the videos out, I would have to sit and monitor when I'm going to release them. And so the big thing, like a lot of that stuff's easier for me not to even mess with their show. And it's easier just to kind of the stuff that I can show. That's why I literally, one of the major reasons why I bought the one transfers and I did the rye and the wand is I knew I could post their image and they wouldn't care. And then it was something too, is like I sent them both packages of them so that they could see. And it was just something like, and I did some of my bananas and pickle logos, but it's kind of not everyone wants a banana and pickle on their shirt. So I only had the few, but it's one of the things like where people could see the different size, the different things. And I made their images on a bunch of different sizes, because like to see it in person is different than even watching it in videos. That's why I try to explain to people. I was like, the hand feel, it's like, and you felt, America, it's hard to explain that feeling of it. Like, cause even compared, like what people don't know, screen printing, you feel screen print, like screen print, unless it's water-based, you're going to feel your hand drag across. And you feel that too. It's got a different texture feeling, but there's different ways to get screen print, the even softer feel. And it's one of them things like, it's almost, I got to try them to understand them. And like I said, they work great. The peeling process is not that hard. I've tried the other ones and I have had issues with some, and I've brought that up. Yeah. Like Eric said, the clients love them. I mean, like I said, the only one I had issues with is a US based person that I showed, and they're supposed to fix their inks. That is the only issue. But like what you can do with these things, like, and I'm sure Eric will testify to this, is like, you can have a customer that only wants maybe like 5 or 10 shirts that wanted front and back print or front back sleeves and all that stuff. And you can use these gang sheets and get them where you don't have a minimum. So you can do that 10 shirt order, front, back, and sleeve prints, still make a nice profit margin on the markup, and that customer's happy, you're happy, and they feel great. They look great. You can do full color. You can do the one color. You can do the stress patterns. Whatever you want, you can put on there. When Monkey Prints, I had the video of the screen printing them in white. It looks like the print had blackout. Do you know what that was? What on the 1 second, Ends? Let me read your other one too. I print transfers for Ends prints transfers too. Ask what the certain data shows. Half of the time, ask for what for a certain data to show anything. Yeah, and that's the thing too, Ends, like Eric was saying, and even I was saying, a lot of the things that print you can't really show. That's the only reason why, like, it's where I've had. That's why the one job I do got out there that I'm doing the video on, I had a lot of people always like, hey, why don't you show much more screen printing? And the problem is like the other stuff we run on the autos, so it's ran that way. In that shop, we have other stuff in there that we can't let people see. And then when I bring the stuff home to run, it's kind of that stuff is stuff I can run here, but it's few and far between. And I try to bring a diversity of stuff home to print, but most of the stuff like people can't see, or they got deadlines that they don't want it to be shown till. And so I usually just pass that stuff up and only bring the stuff I know. And then the other thing too is like, I don't want to bring a 200 or 300 shirt order home and print manually. There's nothing wrong with that for anyone starting out doing that. But to me, I'm going to run that on the auto. So even when I do these jobs here, like I try to bring the smaller jobs because I don't want to manually, like my arms would be as big as rye across. So I don't, the arms get sore after doing it so much. So I try to not fatigue my body as much. So the monkey print Ends, I remember seeing the black stuff. Like normally what the monkey prints were is right before kind of Supercolor came out, and it was another process. What they were using an inkjet printer, and they had a release film similar to the films that are out right now. There is a difference, but I don't know the coding. I've been looking, and no one could ever get me coding specs on the stuff. But more or less, they were using inkjet printer printing to it, and then literally you were burning your screen. And what would happen is wherever you put your white ink, because you're going to pour your powder, that part was the only thing that would lift up. So if you don't put the powder there, it's not going to lift up. And that's kind of why they were doing the choke on some of their issue or on their stuff. The problem is the release agent on that film was not good. And then as you've seen, like in Reyes's video, that one he pulls halfway across and half the print's jacked up. The other prints, like if you didn't pull the constant force, the film was not to where it needed to be at that time. The other issue was when you and as you know, Ends, for making transfers, you can tell someone how to make a screen print transfer. Like I've done the video and you know that, Ends. But for someone to really get it down pat to know the right cure temp for the ink so that it gels just enough to cure compared to overdoing it or underdoing it, it takes a little practice. And so what happens with the banana prints or the monkey prints was what was happening. People were getting home and they're like, hey, I can do this. And they weren't curing it enough. They were over curing it, under curing it, not really knowing the process well enough to be able to do it at home. And that's like the film stuff. Like I said, I got into doing the other method where I use the laser printer. Now I'm not using white toner though. I'm laser printing onto a special film, and this is very, very similar to the Supercolor. I'm using laser toner instead of inkjet, which I can use inkjet. Laser toner gives a better hand feel, and it does better. What I do is I screen print that after on the single head auto. You can do it on a manual, but use vacuum fixture to hold it down. And then wherever that ink's at, you do the same method that you do, Ends, where the powder goes down. And then wherever the powder and the ink's at is the only thing transfers. So another thing that does work that way when you use the laser method is this is not my print, so this is a direct to film. This is one of the other people that sent me the sample, but I'm going to use this as an example. They need more white, definitely, but a good example. Let's say like right up top here on this rock where you got the white boundary here. Let me see if it's, yeah, or the white around this is. Let's say I didn't want that there. When I do my screen print method with them, when I put the white down, my ink, wherever I put it, even though this, let's say this was all lasered with that, let's say that white was a black mark or a blue mark. We'll call it yellow. Let's call it yellow because there's no yellow on here. If that was yellow on there and I didn't want it on the shirt, as long as I don't have that on my negative film to coat the whole back, it won't lift off. So when I peel that transfer off, that yellow is going to stay on here because there is no way for it to bond and peel. That's the way when you're doing the other thing. The other method, when you're screen printing the white on the laser, you can do things like that. So what you can do also too is you can do the halftone dot. So you can rasterize that image and get your gradient on that. 1 second, I gotta. But like on a photo or a comic style, you can do the gradient. So you're going to get all the halftone dots. And so when it transfers, you're not going to pull the whole thing. You're only going to pull them dots off. And that's the nice thing about doing it the screen printed method. You can change what transfers over. So like another thing, let me see if it's on here. If not, I'll have to use that other image. I'll explain with this one, even though it's not a good image. Okay, them meatballs there. Let's say I wanted to do that in reflective ink. So what I could do is when I did the transfer the other way, I could laser that whole image out. And then when I do my negative film for that's going to bond it with the white background underneath it all, and the one I'm going to pour my powder on, I can leave a void where the meatballs are at and not put nothing there. And then so what I can do is when that transfers down to the shirt, it's going to lift up. The meatballs aren't going to come up because there's no white ink to pull up. So it's going to leave that on the transfer. Then I could go back and let's say cut reflective vinyl and put them over top of that so that you could do a reflective in that section. So you can do a lot of little things. The other method but you could do the same thing with even like the direct to film now. You could leave them spots void and just go back after. But there are some advantages to the other one because you like literally the other method, I print registration marks on all them transfers when I do that so it sticks to the table. And what I do is them transfers will never transfer over because I don't put powder on them. So that's why I do it that method. And said it took almost 6 months to get the cure time. Yeah, that's the thing, Ems, is like people can do it and get lucky. But to be persistent in it so that you can sell them, you want to make sure you're comfortable with it. Like you said, it took almost 6 months. And that's where a lot of people don't look at that stuff. Like that's like my direct to film. I could sell them right now if I wanted to. The problem is we do fulfillment for other people and all that. So we're using that for that also. But barring that, I could sell them to the public. The reason I don't is I want to make sure I'm 100% with it. I want to understand the ins and outs, everything about the machine, the print, and that transfers so I can tell people if someone has an issue, how to fix it, what to do and what not to do. And so until then, I don't want to put a product out that I don't know everything about. So, or I'm comfortable with it enough to put my name behind it. So, and it's just like you were saying, it took 6 months. Like, it takes a lot more time and research than people think. Like the other film one, I was comfortable enough. I was getting ready to release the other film ones. And then they ran into where direct to film came out. And the reason I stopped and didn't even go no further with the other is it's cheaper to go direct to film than the other method. And then the price fluctuates on them film sheets. They keep going up and up. And now they're literally double what I could do a a direct to film for. So it doesn't make sense for me to do that. And if I'm selling a product, I don't want to sell a product that someone could get half the price out there. Like, so if I can give you direct to film, let's say and these numbers are way up there, for $5 direct to film, and the other one's going to cost 10, and the quality is going to be the same. Why am I even going to do my $10 product when this $5 one's right here that works just as good? And so I'm not going to sell a product that's overpriced for what I want to do. So that's why I don't sell the other ones, and I haven't pushed it. And I went and got into the direct to film to understand it more. But the big thing that I use it for is for, like I said, we do other fulfillments for groups and organizations, and that's where that stuff comes in handy, the transfers. I will say this. The other method is faster than the direct to film, because literally when I print it on my laser printer, I think I'm 80 sheets a minute that I can knock out. And then literally I go to my auto screen press, and as quick as I can run them out, then you just got to throw the powder on and they're done. Where screen printing, I could never, or direct to film, even though I've got multiple heads, it's not going to do 800 or 80 prints a minute. There's nothing out there that does that. So now if it was left chest or something, maybe, but we're talking the full size prints, I'm running that size and that amount of time. So that is the advantage of the other one, the speed as far as production on them. But the cost for them sheets, I've got to pass it on to the customer, and I just think it's too high of price. I could still be competitive with the other stuff in the market, but I don't think it's worth selling it at that price when I've got another product that is half the price that works just as good. JBM says, I can't wait to get a new press. Then I'm going to try all those printing methods, spot color, CMYK, etc. Yeah, JBM, that's now I will say this, JBM, because I looked at that print that you had the other day. It might have been able to be done because you wouldn't have had to done CMYK on that. You could have done separations on it, because you had the gold and the red, the black and the white, gold, red, black, white. So you had 4 colors. So you could have done that. You could have done the white base underneath the whole thing. You could have done the gradient on the gold. Now the difference is, though, that gold, they don't really have a gold that way that you had it on that print. The red you could have gradiented out, and then you could have mixed it with the black to get the other gradients. The big thing, though, would have been the registration. Like when you were talking on your live, too, is a registration on it, which I haven't seen the press where you tried to run registrations on it. But registrations on stuff can be tricky, especially if you're doing them left chest, as small as that was. It would have been a tricky print to do that on a press. I don't do it because fighting with the registrations and the current. Yeah, that's what I was saying, JBM, because registration, it's easy to get the thing registered to start, but if a press doesn't hold good registration when you're running them, that's the big problem. There's autos out there. I've had an auto, not going to mention brand names or anything. It was just an older press. And that press, it could not, it seemed like every 10 minutes we had to go readjust stuff because it didn't hold good registration on it. And even though it was an auto and everyone's like, oh, autos run good, sometimes there's so much play in that stuff, and then the heads you weren't getting a good, consistent quality print. And in manuals, there's more that goes on to manual than there is in the autos, because when you're using a manual, the only thing you really got to worry about, or on an auto, the only thing you got to worry about is making sure once the press gets running, the ink's going to change how the print looks for a little while. You got to worry about blowouts and all that, but the pressure is always the same on an auto. A manual, when you pull or push, your angle can change the slightest bit, and that's going to change your ink deposit. And then, so if you pull too much, you're going to change it. You're going to dump way more ink. And then the next time you pull it, there are so many. And then the pressure you put on your hands, even the best manual screen printer cannot compare to an auto machine, because your consistency and all that, your drag rate's going to change no matter what you do. And that's the thing too. When Juan did the live video, you can do really quick, but eventually you're going to get tired when you're manually printing. And auto does not get tired. The only thing that gets tired is a loader and unloader. But you're also 500 to 800 shirts per hour on an auto, depending on how you got people loading and unloading. But we'll put a safe number, say 500. So you're running way faster than any manual printer could do. So, but yeah, I agree with you 100%, JBM. A press is a very important thing on that stuff. Are you looking at a 6.6, or is that what you're looking at? Or are you like a 6.4, something like that? Because honestly, the big thing with the presses like that is you like 6 colors is what I would suggest anyways, because that will get you into CMYK, because then you can do a white underbase. So that's 5 colors. And if you got to do a spot color on top, or if you're doing spot color registration, normally you're going to use 6 colors. And if you go back and do a white highlight, but yeah, 6.6. Yeah, I would go 6, because that's like when you're talking during your live the other day when you said 4. Like 4s, you can do CMYK even if the and I know yours has registration issues. Even if the machine had perfect registration, you can get it done on 4.4 or a 4, but 4 leaves out the room. Like if you need a white underbase, and there are ways to do that. It just can be really tricky. Like 6 color press is the way to go. If you've got the room and all that stuff, you'll grow into that. That's like autos. I always tell people, get the most head that you can afford, because with that, what happens, you'll get into jobs where you're needing more and more. And be honest with you though, most customers are 1 and 2 color prints. When people come to your shop, they don't want to spend the money of full color prints, and so they're going to be the 1 and 2 color print people. And they're not going to want to spend that extra money. And that's going to be your bread and butter is the 1 and 2 color things. But you will get customers that want these realistic photos, want all this other stuff, need these spot colors to line up and hit. And if you don't have the extra heads, or because what happens too, just because you have like a 10 head, you're not always going to have ink in all them heads. You're going to have flash units in there, because you're going to have to flash once you start doing where the colors start getting on top and mixing. So you're going to run into them issues that way. And so it changes out how you look at it, because a 10 color head, like an 810, which for instance, that's what I've got on my Anatol. My 810, I got 2 stations loading and unloading. Them stations are dead stations. So I can only run 8 colors, even though it's a 10 station carousel. Where am I located? I am right outside of Bowling Green, Kentucky. That's where the Corvettes are made at. And then I am 45 minutes north of Nashville, Tennessee. I'm right in the little spot in between there that doesn't show up on the map. But 45 minutes from Nashville, and then about 30 minutes from Bowling Green. That's where I live. But that's the thing with the auto too, because like normally I'm going to do a white first, and then you're going to flash that white. So your next head's going to be a flash unit a lot of times. So I'm going to go white flash. So now that's 1 flash, and then I've got them 2 other stations for loading and unloading. So now that 810, even though it had 10 heads, there's 2 empty stations, there's 1 flash. So now I've only got 7 colors. So now if I do multiple colors and they're not, if they're butt registration, you can get away. If they overlap or anything after so many presses, you're going to want to put another flash in there to dry the ink so that they're not muddying up the image too bad. So your 8 color press can be down to 6 colors or less by the end. And then you got to remember your last one's going to be a white. Usually a lot of times, depending on what you're doing and the quality you want to get out, you're going to have a white flash at the end also. So that's another color that you already used once, but it's only going to be a top coat white, because that's going to give you a smoother print if you only do a light undercoat. Print, flash it, and then run the other colors and run the white top coat on top of it. The other thing too, though, you might run a flattening iron right after the white to get that white to lay super smooth and give a nice feel. You could run a roller next to that also if you don't have the hot iron. So there's so many other options that you could run there. So like even my 8 color press, there's sometimes when we're only running like 5 different colors on there, because you got 2 whites. We're running like a flattening press and a roller on it. And then you want to let it cool down sometimes. So like you're running other things that even though you think you've got all them extra heads, a lot of times you wish you had more of them on there. And so that's the difference between something like that, even like a 6-color auto. It's good to start out. A 6-color auto, you'll outgrow really quick once you start getting into it. But like I said, it's get what you can afford and move up from there. That's the best thing I tell people too, because if that's all you can afford, there's no need to keep saving up. You're not putting money aside. So like if you can afford this, move up to this and keep moving up. There are some equipment I would not ever personally suggest starting with just because the quality is not good enough to even do basic things on. But in general, get what you can afford and keep moving up. And I mean, that's like I watch your stuff, Jamie. I mean, your shop's amazing. Like, look, you got that 570. So, I mean, you've been moving up, doing good. And like I said, it's with that 570, that's more game changing on because now you can do more stuff, bigger pieces. And it's the thing, too. Just my big thing is always keep buying. Like, I bought a bunch more equipment. We'll have videos on as it goes along. But I'm always getting other stuff. I've been in lasers forever, and I'm always getting different ones. And they're not just for the screen printing side of it. They're used for other things. And keep growing, because what happens when a customer comes to you, you don't ever want to be like, hey, we can't do that. So even if you don't have the equipment, sub that work out if you can. You want customers to come to you for everything. Because even though, like I said, a lot of people like, hey, do one thing and do one thing good. That's fine, but like screen printing and sublimation tie together. If you can get, like, most screen printing shops do not have the printing process to do business cards, but most businesses need business cards also. So if they can come to you, and it might cost a little bit more on that business card, but if you can give them a bundle package, a lot of people are more content to pay a tad bit extra to get everything all at once instead of buying like from here and then having to go there and then buy this from there. When they know it's one location and they're just got to make one trip to you, or you're going to go, like, we deliver all of our equipment, most of our stuff within a 50-mile radius. We'll deliver any product ordered. So what we do is we have certain days that we deliver stuff, and so that we're not wasting every day having one of the guys out. But we do deliveries on the stuff, and the advantage of that is that you're getting the customer service right there. You're taking it to them. So a lot of these big factories, for instance, they don't have time to have someone drive away or drive 15, 20 minutes away from the shop to try to come pick the stuff up. Their hours might not work good for them. And so by offering the delivery, it's a little incentive. They want to come pick it up, they can. But when you give everything where they got a one-stop shop, it's a lot easier and more convenient for them. Like a good example, we do the Little League team. When we give them the jersey, if we didn't do the embroidery on the hats, which we sub that out, we don't embroider anymore. I do got a machine on the way, a 2-head. But if you don't offer the hat with it, now they got to go somewhere else to get the hat. So now if your competitor says, hey, we can do the hats also, they might look at that and say, hey, we're better off going over here. Our shirts may be 10 cents more, but they got the hats, and the hat would be cheaper because he doesn't have hats. So we're going to have to make 2 trips anyways. Why don't we just get it all at once? And you can lose the business. But the other thing, too, is if you're able to offer everything, people feel more comfortable going to one place getting it all. Like I said, it's just like, oh, you can do banners, like the sport thing, too. Our teams go out there with a banner during the parade. They don't use it during the parade. If you offer like little things like that, use them links that I posted, and it shows you where to outsource and get banners made. You can get banners made super cheap. Cheaper than even printing them yourself. Use the sources like that, and then so like now you can offer them a banner. They also, too, baseball teams, the whole outfields are lined with banners of sponsors and community places, and they all have to pay for them so much for them banners. So if you're like, hey, we can do the banners, your shirts, your jerseys, all your stuff, and if you can get it all in a nice, good package bundle for them, a lot of times they're going to go with that because it's one-stop shop. And it's more convenient for them, and it's just going to fit them better. And it's kind of like when you did the soccer stuff. If too, now that you can do the sublimation tumblers for them, if kids are on the bench, especially with the whole COVID thing right now, with the whole sharing water stuff and all that, where you're not supposed to. The thing is, you can be like, hey, we can supplement these tumblers and put Jimmy, Bill, Tom, and all their different names on it. A lot of things like that, parents are more comfortable with doing that. And since the parents are doing the bundle thing or paying for it, you can be like, hey, we'll give you a bundle package. We'll do the jerseys. We'll throw in the tumblers, this, and just say it costs this much. If you just want this, and give them options. And a lot of times they'll look and be like, hey, it's only this much more for this. And they'll tend to go with that. So what's the major city in Virginia you're near, JBM? Because I know you serve, so I know you got to be near one of the major bases too. Well, guys, I'm going to hop off here for the night. I've been on about 2 hours. It's a little long. If there's anything you guys want to know, I'm in Hampton. Major city would be Norfolk. Largest naval is the largest naval base. Okay. So you're in the Navy then? My dad was in the Navy. Thinking of selling my 6.6 workhorse mock on the fence. Oh, you're in the Army. Okay. So why are you thinking of selling it, Ends? I'm just going to do transfers. What's the point? Yeah, I mean, I guess that's sorry guys. But do you not think, Ends, you might want to have that or still have use for it after though, or watching the Dogecoin? So I'm anticipating when to sell. It's back up. That's what I'm kind of a little worried, or not worried, but I'm kind of anxious to see where it's going to be at the end of the night. Something's climbing on one of my stocks because I was pretty low and now it's. Yeah, that Dogecoin is making a big run right now, ain't it? Show Waldo some love. Hit the like button. Thank you so much, Eric. It really means a lot. Yeah, I'm just glad, Eric, that them transfers are working for you too. I'm glad to hear, because like I said, a lot of people, like for instance, where I did this giveaway recently, so they'll get something to try it, but like I'll get message from people asking for that place, and I don't know if they ever bought them or not, and I'm the only one that's done tests, and it's always hard to get people's input. Like a lot of people are like, hey, he uses them, or which I'm not affiliated with this, but a lot of people are like, well, he's pushing that because he's getting affiliate, which I don't get money off of these ones. I do get money when people use the Amazon links, but them are only products I actually use in my shop. But when I see people like you comment, it makes me feel better to know that it's working for you guys. Because like I said, I've done a lot of tests on them, but I always like to hear other people, how the results they have with them. I can't fit the silver press, my vacuum press, and oven in my basement. Turning the garage back. Yeah, I was gonna say you do a lot of the woodworking, don't you? And so, but thank you guys so much. And then Eric, which I mean, you already buy the transfers anyways, but I'm gonna try to do some more giveaways with them, so more people can get their hands on some of them. So keep an eye out, Eric. So maybe you can win some more also. Because granted, I mean, you're buying them anyways, but free, you can't beat free on a lot of things. So yeah, the customers love them and all. That's all that matters. That's the big thing too, is I always tell people, because like at the end of the day, when people ask me, like, we're the huge debate, why is screen printing better? Why is this better? And good night, JBM. I'm getting ready to hop off right after this comment too. Is the number one thing, it's not that one is better. It's kind of like this. Like if a customer comes to you and they want 10 shirts and they want full color, there is no way that you can sell them on screen printing for that price. If it's a full color print, spot, they got to hit spot color in it or something like that. It's just not going to be cost effective to screen print that. Because normally on screens, you're looking $5 a screen. Because your chemicals and all that, so you got to pass that on to the customer, and you don't have to show setup fees. Like I don't charge setup fees, I don't charge screen fees. It's added into the cost of that shirt. But when I'm doing my numbers and my calculations, that's added into it. They just don't see that at the end cost. So on something like that, on a 10 shirt thing, if it's, let's say 5 or 6 screens or 5 screens, it's $25 right there in the screens. So when you add that into that cost, now that's into that 10 shirts that you got to add that on top of the shirt, and then not including all the other stuff too. It makes it where it's not cost effective for that. And so transfers do work, especially the cost of these transfers nowadays. It makes it where it's really cost effective. Sometimes screen printing vinyl and others DTF, super color. It's all about the convenience. Yeah, and that's the other thing too, is like, even if you have like a good example, like JBM was saying, he's got a 4-color press. Doesn't hold the best registration. So if even, let's say his press was 6 colors, so he could do some of the other ones. If it's not holding registration and you got to print some of these things, it's better off to do something that, even though you have the equipment, use the other process that's going to give you the best result. Because at the end of the day, it's like where Ends does transfers. I use transfers on some of my stuff. It's not an everyday thing I use transfers, but there is a point where I'll get them transfers cheap enough where it's worth me using them on some of these jobs. Because like I said before, we have customers that will buy a set amount of shirts. They don't know the size, so we'll bring extras, and it's usually like a black color shirt, and we're going to press. And so when we get there might only been 5 people that needed a large. So if we would have screen printed them before, someone's out the money. Now what we do though, when we're doing them setups like that, we're charging a little higher premium on that stuff. But the advantage to us is now we're not printing a shirt and getting stuck with something that we're not going to use. And then the other thing too, like we do a lot of like the sporting events around here. And so like when we do the state championships, we'll make that transfers made with the teams that's going to win. And so once they win, we're able to press that shirt and give them the winning team with their name on it. And we make 50 of each. So we can do the team, and then a few parents can buy it, and then we sell them out. And we are only buying so many. Like we don't have them printed until pretty much the final 4. So we're only buying 4 teams. So what happens is if the other ones don't win, we just chuck them out. It's wasting money, but the advantage that you can do and offer that, because the only other way to do that was be printing direct at the event, bringing a press there. It can be done, but the time pulling dryers and all that, it's very cumbersome. The cost of the transfer, you just chuck it out. The other thing we'll do too, if it's a bigger event where there's more teams, we're going to do the transfer and say championship, and then literally we'll just do a gang sheet of all the different team names, and then we'll press the other ones, and then once they win, we just throw the team name over it and cut the other ones and pitch the other ones out. And so, like I said, you're able to do stuff like that with transfers that you can't do even with the press. I mean, I could press it, but I'd have to bring a live press with me. I'd have to have a lot of screens set up, ink set up, dryer set up. Some of these places, I don't have space for that. And then if you're working out of a trailer that you pull behind where you do have generators and all that, some of it's in the dead hot of summer, some of it's in the winter. Heat and cold is a big thing. So when you're in a trailer and it's 110 outside here in Kentucky, and then that trailer is like 120, 130 because you're running dryers and all that, it's not worth it. It's easier just to bring that heat press and run with it. Sometimes screen printing vinyl, a factor of all into transfers, prices. People love hearing no screen setup fees. No setup fees. Yeah, that's the big thing too, ends. Multicolor bulk orders, I usually go direct to film or super color, single color bulk. I'll go with screen printing, small single colors. I'll go vinyl. Yeah, and that's, Eric, that's the biggest thing. It's like when I did all my videos, yeah, Raya, I'm still here. You know me, Raya, long-winded, I talk a lot. That is the biggest thing, Eric. When I did my videos, it's not to bash people for using like the super color or anything. It's to show people there are other products in that field too that work just as good, that's cheaper, and to show people there's other alternatives. Because I agree 100%. You have to look, like if someone comes to you and let's say you are doing one shirts for people, storefronts, you can run into that. Kiosks in the mall, people come on, hey, I want one shirt. So you've got pretty much 2 options with that. 3 options, actually. Super color's out of the question. You got to have 25 shirts. That's a no bueno. You can do direct to transfer. That would work. The downside is even the turnaround time, unless you have your own printer, you're not doing that quick. You can do direct to garment. You got to have a direct to garment machine. So that's out of the question. So the only 2 really methods that even could be done is cut vinyl, which you can do that right away. Or screen print. But now even the screen print, you're going to have to burn the screen, burn the stencil. When you look at side by side, if it's a one color print, that cut vinyl, even though vinyl's more expensive, when you add the screen cost, the setup cost, the time to do all the screen printing, that cut vinyl is going to be cheaper. But now once you get into 5 and 10 shirts, that the cost of the vinyl eliminates that and you're better to go to the screen printing. But that's the big thing. You have to weigh your factors. The biggest thing is, I heard someone the other day, he's like, I charge my price according to the process I use. And really, your price should be a set thing that you always like. When someone calls and says, hey, I want, which I don't have it here, but in the office, we have a price list. It says 1 to 10 shirts, 10 to 20 shirts. It's a price range from everything. It's got how many colors. We don't tell them, hey, if you want this, it's going to be this one. What it is like if you call in and you say 2-color shirt, what we're going to do, or 2-color print, we're going to look on that paper. It's going to give us a price. And what we're going to do is we're going to see what's the most profitable method and use that one. So we put more money into our pocket. Now, if people do ask, hey, what process is that going to be? Because like a good example, when you do sports, 99.9% of the time, the numbers and names are going to be cut vinyl because you're not going to screen print all the kids' names. And parents don't complain or ask about it. They don't even think nothing about it. So when people do stuff like that, like jerseys and all that, you're going to print the front, maybe screen print, but the name and numbers are always going to be cut vinyl a lot of times. You can screen print, like we've got a number jig, set numbers and all that of what the numbers look like, but we don't have a name jig. So the name is going to be cut vinyl if they're putting the name. And it's one of them things is you got to look at what's the best process that's going to put the most money in your pocket and make everybody happy. Like if you're like, hey, this one's this much, this one's that much, it's good to give people options, but you don't want to be like, hey, this one's cheaper for us, but it's more for you, because they're not going to jump on it. You just kind of, you give them the options of, hey, would you want to have this many colors, that many colors, what's going to be done? Because at the end of the day, like for instance, I can screen print onto these things. I could do a screen print, direct to film, direct to garment, and then cut vinyl. And I could lay them all side by side, and I guarantee you the only people that would get them all, and they might not even get them all, are people in the industry. Some of them like cut vinyl. Yeah, that's going to be a no-go on the field. Like people can tell cut vinyl right away, depending what vinyl you're using. But the other processes, a lot of the stuff people can't tell the difference, and they don't know which one's which. So if you can show them products that they don't know, they can tell it's different, like this stuff. You might feel and be like, hey, it's something different. I don't know what it is. At the end of the day, as long as the customer's, like you said earlier, as long as that customer's happy, I'm happy. And so as long as you can put that money in your pocket, they're happy, you're happy, it works great. And like I said, it's just finding the best process that works for it. Is that Mountain Dew? You know what's funny, Ryan? Today was not Mountain Dew. It is Faygo Orange, representing Michigan Bottling Company, Faygo Pop. And I'm sure you have some of their music, Rye, ICP, which I'm not down with the clown, but Faygo Pop is the drink of the night, Rye. Well, thank you, everybody, again. Thank you for coming on to live. Thank you for participating, asking the questions, commenting. Means a lot to me, guys, and continue to support, follow, like, subscribe, and follow. And we've got the other videos. The words I think are all done so far. I have to go back and check. That one we're just waiting until we hit the 2,000 subscribers. We're going to do a giveaway. You have to guess that one. I used to get that all the time when I lived in Detroit. Yeah, so I lived downriver, Eric. Well, I lived downriver. I lived Taylor, Melvindale, Inkster, Wyandotte. But yeah, I grew up in Michigan, so I mean I nonstop all that stuff. Buddy's Pizza, downtown Detroit, best pizza there is, which I always bring that up. Certain things, even though I live down here, every time I have someone go up there in the area, John Lum's on Van Born and Dearborn, it's the best Chinese chicken. You got to get plum sauce with it, almond chicken, plum sauce, right next to the graveyard. Certain thing like a Coney dog. Coney Island didn't invent the Coney dog. Detroit invented the Coney dog. So, but yeah, there's certain foods, certain things you just grow up on. And that's one of the things. That and Verner's, like I was saying earlier. So thank everyone so much for, like I said, the live and hanging out here with me. Detroit, Warren. I also live in Redford Township. Okay, cool. Yeah, so you're downriver area. You know, yeah, Allen Park. I used to work at the bike shop Role Models in Allen Park. I was born in Henry Ford Hospital, or not Henry Ford Hospital, Oakwood Hospital off of Oakwood Drive right there. But yeah, I grew up in that whole area. Lived there 20 years, so great different place. Like I said, that's why I've got like my clothing line for Michigan is I still go up there all the time, and it's something that's been in me to kind of, it's easy to associate with what works and what goes good up there, and it just kind of, that's why I do that stuff. Thanks everyone again. I'm glad everyone stopped in. Have a great evening, guys, and hope this helped. I'm Waldo. I'm out. Thanks, guys.